Hello everybody. In this LibreOffice Calc tutorial, we're going to go over how you can identify duplicates. In a previous tutorial, we went over how you can delete duplicates. However, there may be times where you would just like to visually identify duplicates in different ways. For our first example, we're going to use conditional formatting. Let's go up to Format, Conditional Formatting. Then go to Condition. For our condition, we will leave it as cell value is. Then here, click the drop down, and we want to go to duplicate. Let's go ahead and create a new style. Let's click on background. Let's choose a fill color of yellow. Let's click OK. If you wanted to give that a name, you could do that as well. In this case, we'll just leave it as is. Now for the range, let's choose our range, which is here, and let's click OK. Now you can see any and all values that have a duplicate are now colored yellow. Next up, let's go over an example using a pivot table. An easy way to see which values in a set of data have duplicates and to actually get a count for those values is to use a pivot table. So let's go ahead and insert a pivot table. Now let's drag spare change to the row fields and spare change to the data fields. And instead of sum, we want count. So let's double click, choose count for the function, and click OK. Let's go ahead and put this pivot table in our existing sheet, and we'll put it right here. Click OK. Now, you can see in our data set there are 2 dimes, $1, 1 half-dollar, 3 nickels, 12 pennies, and 1 quarter, telling us that the dime, nickel, and penny have duplicates, and the dollar, half-dollar, and quarter are unique. Next up, let's go over an example using a formula. Let's go to the Mark Duplicates tab. And this example is a little bit different because it will only mark the duplicates after it has seen more than one. Whereas in this case with the conditional formatting, it marked any data items that have a duplicate at all. We're going to go ahead and use this formula. So we'll type out if, and we're going to use a count if. Now, for the range, let's go ahead and start with the first element, colon, then choose A2 again. Now, we want to go ahead and lock or anchor our first A2. And the criteria will be this same cell here. Now, as the formula looks at the data elements, if any of the counts are greater than 1, now we enter back into our if. We want to mark them duplicate. If they are unique, we'll just leave it blank by using 2 double quotes right together. So basically, this formula is saying if the count is greater than 1, mark it duplicate, otherwise leave it blank. And this code here, where we put in our A2 range, locked or anchored, will allow us to start here and begin the counting. So let's show you an example. Let's go ahead and copy this down, and you'll notice we start here, it's looking at this cell. If we go to the next one, it's looking at both of these cells, all the way down to the bottom where it's looking at all the cells, which allows the formula to look at each item in the data set and get a count as it goes along. Okay, so let's go through this just a little bit more. We see here that the first penny is blank because it has not seen a duplicate yet. The second time it encounters the penny, it marks it duplicate. And every time after that, it marks it correctly as a duplicate. You can see that here. The first time it encounters the nickel, it leaves it blank, but then the second and third time, it marks it duplicate. Same for the dime. The first time it encounters the dime, it's blank. It's not a duplicate. The second time, it marks it correctly as a duplicate. And then the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar do not have duplicates, and you can see those are left blank. Now, another little trick, if you would like to filter on just the duplicates or the non-duplicates, you can go up to your filter, click that, click the drop-down, and if you uncheck the duplicates, that will show you the unique elements. If you just wanted to see the duplicates, you could do that as well. Okay, for our last example, let's go over a formula that you could use to get a tally count. And this is very similar to the example that we created using the pivot table. And we should get the same results. However, if you didn't want to use a pivot table, you could use the formula. Here's the formula that we're going to use. Let's go ahead and delete this and start over. We're going to use COUNTIF. For the range, let's go ahead and start with our first cell. We want to lock it, colon, A2, comma, for the criteria, we want this same cell. Now, let's copy the formula down. This example is a little bit different because you can actually see the counting for each element as each element is encountered. So we can see this is the first occurrence of the penny, the second, the third, and the fourth. Then down here, the penny starts again, and you can see it goes 5 all the way to 12. For the nickel, this is the first occurrence, the second, and the third. For the dime, we can see occurrences 1 and 2. The quarter, half dollar, and dollar are all unique, and they just get counts of 1. Okay, that's all we have for this tutorial. We will be doing many more tutorials in the near future. Join us for those, and we'll see you next time.